Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder do battle for a third time on Saturday night with their long-awaited trilogy fight taking place in Las Vegas. Fury's one-sided destruction of the Bronze Bomber is still fresh in the memory after last year's second fight. Today, we will look at what the pros make of the third fight and what they think might ultimately happen. Let's get into it. First up, what has happened previously? The two rivals have fought twice in the past, with the first fight an epic for the ages finishing in a draw. Fury famously came back after being knocked down in the 9th round, but with Wilder having expended a lot of energy trying to finish Fury in round 9, Wilder looked fatigued in round 10. This became an advantage for Fury as he landed 2 right hands. Fury also took advantage in the 11th round, landing enough shots and avoiding anything Wilder could throw at him. In round 12, Wilder landed a right-left combination which put Fury down hard on his backside. The crowd, commentary team, and Wilder believed the fight was over. Rice looked at Fury on the canvas and began giving him a count. To everyone's surprise, Fury beat the count. Rice made Fury dance to his left to check if he was able to carry on, which he was, and Rice called for the action to continue. Wilder, fatigued again, was unable to land another power shot, and Fury landed some right hands to finish the round and the fight on his feet. Both boxers embraced in a hug after the final bell sounded, which was nice to see. We don't see that happening on Saturday night, however. Who do you think won the first fight? Do you think a draw was the correct result? Their epic first fight set the scene for a second fight in February 2020. The WBC also agreed to sanction a rematch if terms were agreed upon. According to Warren, negotiations were looking to be finalized in January 2019, with Warren and Fury calling for the rematch to take place in the UK. In December 2019, it was officially announced that the rematch had been scheduled for February 22, 2020 in Las Vegas. This fight was completely different than the first. Fury dominated from beginning to end, knocking Wilder to the floor twice en route to a 7th round stoppage after Wilder's corner threw in the towel to save Wilder from further punishment. Wilder came out with an abundance of excuses after the fight, one of which being, quite hilariously, that his ring entrance outfit was too heavy and this had depleted him of energy. Okay, Deontay, what did you guys think about his excuses? So what do we know about the third fight? What you need to know about Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 3, well, is that it is probably 2021's most anticipated bout, roaring into action in Las Vegas on Saturday night as the heavyweights meet for a third time. Britain's Fury will defend his WBC crown against the American, who he stopped in the 7th round during their second fight 20 months ago, as we mentioned above. It was Wilder's first defeat in a 44-fight professional career and sparked him into accusing Fury of cheating. The highly anticipated matchup is expected to start at 4 o'clock British Standard Time on Sunday. The two boxers had a slanging match at the final press conference earlier this week. Tyson Fury was seizing on Wilder's list of excuses for his loss in the second fight. The British boxer weighed 277 pounds, 4 more pounds than he weighed in his February 2020 rematch with Wilder. Wilder weighed 238 pounds after coming in at a then career high of 231 pounds in his 7th round TKO loss to Fury last year. Don't go anywhere, because next we are discussing what the pros have been saying. Fighters all over the planet have had their opinions on what will happen come Saturday night, none bigger than ex-UFC champ Daniel Cormier, who remarked, "I don't think it's tapping out. I don't think it's going differently. I wish Deontay Wilder would have taken a fight in the meantime, because in the first fight, Tyson Fury was putting it on him, and then Deontay dropped him late in order to make it a draw. In the second fight, Tyson literally just put it on him the whole time. So if I'm a fan of Deontay Wilder, as I am, I'm tapping out. Deontay and I were on the Olympic team together. I saw Tyson Fury in the interview yesterday, and he seemed so focused and locked in. He really feels like he wants to kill Deontay Wilder. He's a big guy, way too heavy for Wilder. I envision this will look very similar to the second fight. Do you guys agree with DC?" Speaking in July, former world champion Carl Froch claimed that the delay could potentially give Wilder the upper hand. This delay is definitely going to hurt Fury more. He'll know he can get knocked out by Wilder. Wilder's going to be like a man on fire trading for this fight, whereas Fury fought him the first time when he wasn't in shape and still got a draw. Then in the rematch, he absolutely battered him. It was a one-sided whooping, so Fury could be thinking, do I really need this? They have both been out of the ring for the same amount of time, but Wilder is still going to be hungry. He's got a point to prove. He's been abused really on social media for a long time. I think this delay is more of a concern for Fury than it is for Wilder. I was really disappointed with the postponement because it's a fight I was looking forward to. Even though it seemed like it would be a one-sided fight for Fury, you can never ever just write any man off when he's a huge puncher like Wilder. Fury loves the sport, but there's only so much you can keep yourself motivated when you're not busy and there's nothing happening. But then recently, Froch said he didn't think Wilder was big enough for Fury, alluding to the fact that he is a bit of a one-trick pony with that one big punch, something which many people in the game have spoken about. Froch acknowledged that having that one-punch power can turn a fight and get him out of jail. He also addressed claims that Wilder can't box, saying he knows what he is doing, otherwise he wouldn't be in there. He also claimed that Wilder has a point to prove, while maybe Fury doesn't care as much. It is hard to imagine Fury not caring about his status as world champion, but who are we to question a guy as good as Carl Froch? He ultimately put his money on Fury, but claimed the mentality of both fighters will have a big part to play. British heavyweight Johnny Fisher says that Wilder is not going to outbox Fury. What do you think about that assessment? Fisher went on to mirror Froch's ideas by claiming that it will be down to what sort of mentality Wilder brings to the fight, saying that the press conference did not look good for Wilder with earphones in. Who sits at a press conference with earphones in, not saying anything? Questioned Fisher. He has a point. He went on to predict that Fury gets the job done inside of 4 rounds. Former world champ Johnny Nelson echoed both pros' views, saying there is no chance Wilder can outbox Fury, saying he needs to intensify what he has been working on to try and blast him out of there, although he warned he has to try and do it with finesse, or the same thing as last time will happen again. Englishman George Groves had a slightly different point of view, saying he was going for the upset, and what an upset it would be. Groves went on to reference Wilder's frame of mind, a pretty common theme between most of the pros, saying he didn't believe he was in the correct frame of mind for the rematch. Groves also said he looked agitated and couldn't let his hands go. We're not sure if this was Wilder's mind frame or coming up against a superior boxer. What do you guys think? Groves also went on to say that Wilder looks like he is in a better headspace. It is interesting to see how different fighters perceive things, especially after Fisher viewed Wilder's press conference. Promoter Frank Warren simply said he does not see what else Wilder can bring that he hasn't already brought before. He went on to discuss how Tyson took every shot the Bronze Bomber gave him, especially in the first fight. Heavyweight Carlos Takam noticed how quiet Wilder has been in the build-up before this fight, saying he hasn't spoken a lot like before. Daniel Dubois claimed that a Wilder win would be an upset, but he thinks that ultimately Fury has his number. Heavyweight Aline Babic claimed that Fury took Wilder's boxing life in their last fight. A very interesting take indeed. How do you guys see the third fight going? Fury comes in as the heavy favorite, but as we know, Wilder has that crazy one-punch power we have seen so often before. As always, feel free to leave your own comments below, and remember to join us next time. Thanks for tuning in, guys.